So sorry, I was just going to remind you to do that. So it's nice to see faces and put them with the names. I have been at the governor's school now for 10 years. And like Dr. Smith, both of my own kids have been graduates of the governor's school. So that's really neat. I think it really gives us a unique perspective and enables us to do our job a little bit better because we have been where you guys have been. So, you know, I'm excited to be here and I'm glad you guys are here. I did want to say that most of you have completed your registration forms, so I appreciate that. We need that information in order to give you your Gmail accounts and your laptops and things like that. So if you haven't been able to complete your registration forms, please do so. And if you don't have the link or whatever, let me know and I will try to work out the technical glitches there. We will oftentimes make phone calls to your homes, and I'm sure everybody's familiar with these systems by now. If you are getting the phone calls or emails or things like that at a location that you do not wish to receive them, sometimes they might go to your work and you might not want phone calls at your work, just send me an email and I'll be sure to take that out of the system and be able to switch that around. So glad you're here, and I'm going to hand it back to Dr. Smith so he can talk a little bit more.
Thank you, Mrs. McMillan. So I want to share my screen and go to our website because we've been doing this for a while, as you've heard. And so we know some of the questions you likely have. And so I'm going to show you where you can find information, but you can always contact us. You can always call us or email us, but I'm just going to show you because I know many of you are comfortable with technology and you're independent and you can look things up. Are you now seeing Google? Yep. I'm going to type in CVGS and just that, and then I'm going to hit enter. And look, we're #1. There we go. I'm going to click that link. This is our website. Do you see our website? That's fantastic. So on our website, this is a fun video that you can watch on our YouTube channel if you want. It's an overview. It features a lot of our former students. I want to go here to the academic calendar. Just this little link right here and click it. This is the current calendar, and this is 21-22, and I'm going to zoom in. That was a little awkward, but we'll get there. Here's June, right? So you can see what we are doing, and there's a key that's off to the left. We're currently in May, and we're going to have our seniors are going to finish up on Friday, and our juniors are going to finish up the following Friday. But notice these days with SO here in June, June 6, 7, and 8. That's new student orientation. We want all of you who can be there to be there. All right. So the goals of new student orientation, 1, so you get to know us. You get to meet the 9 people who work at the governor's school. 2, it's so you get to know each other because you guys are amazing. You have fantastic peers, classmates from 10 different high schools. And so we want you to get to know each other. We want you to get to know our facility. That won't take long. It's a rectangle. It's 1 floor. It's very easy to learn. And we want you to think about research. So we've got these 3 days. Now, some families have already contacted me and they said, Dr. Smith, we've had a family vacation planned since our child was born, and we just really don't think we're going to make it to new student orientation. What should we do? And I said, you should not panic. It is okay, right? We only have 150 students total. I will know every one of our students' names, right? We'll know you. And because we only have 150 students, we can take care of things that you probably couldn't take care of in a full-size high school. So when someone misses a session, we'll record it, we'll provide notes. I'll provide a session in the summer. For the folks that are going to miss new student orientation, I'll contact you, or Mrs. McMillan will contact you. We'll set up another time. We'll bring you in. It won't be the same because you won't be with your classmates. Do understand that it won't be the same, but it will be enough that you will get what you need, and then you'll come and we'll get you caught up in August. Okay? So just to assuage any fears that people might have, it would be okay if you didn't come to new student orientation, but if you can, please do, because you're going to enjoy it. It's going to go from 8 o'clock until noon, these 3 days. You'll bring something to put water in, and if you don't have a container for water, we'll sell you one because we have some Gov School ones. So we've got merchandise. I'll do a commercial later. But Yeah, so you'll want something to put water in, and you'll bring a snack, and we'll have a marvelous time. And oh, by the way, we'll have snacks for the kids that forget their snack, because that happens, and we think about that. We've been doing this a long time. It'll be great. New student orientation. So the last thing I would mention is on the first day, which would be June 6th, we are going to take your photo. If you're a student, if you're a parent, not so much, unless you ask, but the students, we're going to take your photo, and you're going to live with that photo for 2 years. Is that stressful? It's going to go up in our commons area. Some of you have seen the photos in the commons area, because we're really big about getting to know each other. And so we'll have a cheat sheet for all of you with your classmates. You'll have their photo, you'll have their name, the school they go to is in the handbook. You'll have all of these things, and we'll really work to help you become a community of learners, really connected. But I was told that I should definitely mention that every year, that you will have your photo taken on that first day of new student orientation. So do whatever it is you need to do to make that a comfortable thing for you, because you will keep that photo for 2 years. And Dr. Shiflett's wonderful. She takes the photos, and she'll definitely say, is this okay? And if it's not okay, she'll take another one, right? So I'm not trying to freak anybody out. It'll be wonderful. But I've been told to make sure I note that. So that being said, I want to show you where the calendar is, where the calendar is for next year, because our board has already approved it. And Mrs. McMillan, just let me know if things aren't working. Okay, if I click anything, it doesn't go where it's supposed to. This is that same main page on our website. In the current news, you see a little link for the calendar that's been approved. And it comes to this item where you can click here. And the calendars look very much the same. We try to be consistent, because consistency gives us confidence. That's right. We can predict what's going to happen if someone responds in a consistent way. And so we try to do that here at the Governor's School. I want you to notice this SO on August 8th. That is the last day of new student orientation. So after the summer, we've done whatever it is we do over the summer and had a wonderful time. We like to bring our juniors back one day before the seniors, right? Just to get you comfortable again, right? Because it can be scary coming to Gov School. We get that. Right? The students tell us. They don't tell us like right when they get here, because they're nervous about admitting it. They're looking around like, everybody else here is a genius, and maybe it was a mistake that I was selected. They call it imposter syndrome. That's what the kids tell me. You were selected on purpose. Every one of you is meant to be here. You're wonderful. We're going to have a great time. We're going to bring you back a day early and make sure you're comfortable. And then we'll all get started. Does that make sense? So yeah, I appreciate the nonverbals. Thank you so much. So August 8th, be planning for that now. We're going to distribute your laptops at new student orientation. Later in this presentation, we're going to talk about some other things that we're going to provide, other supports we're going to provide over the summer. And so when we talk about laptops, we'll talk about that as well. The last thing I want to show you on our website, and again, I just Googled CVGS, Central Virginia Governor's School, and if you look at the URL, it's just cvgs.k12.va.us, because we're a K-12 school, we're in Virginia, we're in the United States, easy to remember, but just Google CVGS. If you go to Students and Student Handbook, and we're going to click the link, it says Student Handbook, and hopefully you'll see an Adobe PDF, right? Look. 22, 23, that's this coming year. Table of contents. I'm not going to scroll through all of this for you all, because you don't want me to. I know that. But I want to point out a couple of things. Inclement weather. We get a lot of questions on that. So Mrs. McMillan's actually going to summarize that for you in this meeting. We get questions sometimes about our Saturday sessions, which are optional, our attendance policy. How many, Mrs. McMillan, I'm going to put you on the spot. How many unexcused absences did we have this year? Do you know off the top of your head?
Well, as long as we get a note from a parent, any absence is excused. It can be for any reason. So I would say a very small number.
I think the very small number might be 0. I'm just going to throw that out there. And here's the reason why. We're Gov School. You all come to school. You want to be here, right? And unless you have a good reason, you will be here. And so that makes you make our jobs wonderful. Just absolutely, it is a blessing to work at Gov School because of the students with whom we get to work. So, but Mrs. McMillan will go through the things that we typically have questions on, just so that when we get to the Q&A at the end of this meeting, we'll have handled the most common items, and then we can handle the things that are perhaps a little more specific. But I wanted to show you the handbook so you can get to it if you want to get to it later. And it's not that long, and it has all the names of your class and the senior class at the end of the handbook, including the school they come from. So you could start working on your names if you wanted to. You could say, oh, that's the formal name, but I know she goes by Josie, so I'm going to call her Josie, right? Because that's what she likes to be called. Or Izzy, right? I may be Isabel, but I go by Izzy, or whatever the case may be. So you can start sort of getting a feel for that. You're also going to make introductory videos. You're going to get to know each other so well. It's fabulous. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to stop showing my screen, I should say. All right. Okay, are we back? Are you all back to the regular view? Fantastic. Mrs. McMillan, do you want to talk about some of those commonly asked items?
Sure. I also wanted to make a note. I don't think you mentioned this. It's important to pay particular attention to our calendar because it does not match any school division. We make our own calendar. So there may be days where we have classes at CVGS, but you might not have classes at your base school. So it's important that you are looking at our calendar as well. Each school division will provide transportation. So if you are riding a bus, they will bring you to Gov School. You will need to contact the transportation department for your school division to let them know that you're going to Gov School. And the sooner you do that, the better, so that they can make their plans. If you need numbers or emails for transportation departments, let me know. Send me an email and I will forward that information to you so that you can have that. Our students can also drive themselves if they're able. I know juniors, sometimes that's the year where people are getting their driver's license, but we do have plenty of parking at the Gov School. You do need to purchase a parking pass from Heritage High School. It's through me. You would come to the Gov School office and purchase a Heritage parking pass. If you go to Glass, you do not need to purchase another pass, but any of the other school divisions will need to purchase a pass. They are actually handled through Lynchburg City and they set the price. The last several years it's been $50, but I won't know that information until after school starts. I will send an email to all the students when I have all the information about the parking. And it, like I said, it won't be until after our first day of school. So don't worry about it. If you're going to drive on the first day of school, there's plenty of space. You can drive and park. Okay. Inclement weather. Dr. Smith mentioned inclement weather quickly. We will make our own, just like our calendar, we will make our own inclement weather calls. And we typically do them the night before. And you will receive a phone call, you will get an email, and it will also be posted on our social media sites. We have an Instagram account and a Facebook account. So you can make sure you follow those, and those names, account names, I guess is what they are. I don't know what they're called. They are located in the handbook. So when you look in the handbook, you'll see what to follow. So inclement weather. So if Gov School is open, but it's kind of snowy in your area and your parents don't really want you to drive, please stay home. We will still have classes, but we don't want you guys on the road. We want you to be safe. If our school serves 5 different school divisions, so it's a large geographical area. It's really hard to know what's happening, way out in Amherst versus what's happening out in Appomattox. So we will have classes, and if it's safe for you to drive, please come, and if not, please stay home. That is the most important thing. Just make sure everybody's safe, okay? And like I said, we make our own calls, so it will be different from what your base school is doing. If you ride the bus, they may not provide transportation on those days, but that is something that you'll have to work out with your school division and your bus driver. You should make friends with your bus driver, because you'll want to let them know, hey, we don't have school tomorrow, or you just want to make sure that you have an open communication with the bus driver so they know what's going on too. Okay. An important page in the student handbook is a page that lists the people that we call division advocates. They are people that work in the central office of the school divisions, and they help us if we are not able to answer a question that might be handled better at the school level or the division level. Like I said, we serve 5 different school divisions, and sometimes all 5 do something different or have a different policy about something. So we can't always know the most up-to-date information. So if we can't answer the question for you, if I can't answer it, or Dr. Smith or Dr. Douglas, then we will point you in the direction of the division advocate. And those names are listed in the handbook as well that you'll see when you review that information. What else, Dr. Smith? Anything else for me?
I think you're doing great. You might mention, as one of the instructors, we do open up a Zoom room for every lecture for students who need to access from home. And so you can always Zoom in, and we record those and we post them to our Google Classrooms. So some of my students who are in class for the lecture want to hear it again. And so they'll access those resources. Yeah, so we will help you, and you'll create community learning teams. You'll create groups of students who work together. Our students are collaborative. They are not competitive. We do not have a limited number of A's, and so you have to fight for one, right? We have as many A's as you would like to earn, right? It's not, we don't grade on the curve. That's not at all what we do. We set high expectations, and as we challenge you, we will support you to meet those expectations, right? That's what we do. So so I say all of that to accomplish the main goal tonight for me, which is to bring any stress you're feeling down, right? We're going to take care of things. It's all going to be wonderful. When you have questions, you will ask them, and we will be happy to answer them. I think that covers the topics that we typically get questions on. The division advocates are all experienced and very nice people. They know the program, and they can tell you, oh, for William Campbell, we do this. We also have an advocate in each high school, someone who knows our program, probably the person that you worked with when you applied. And so they can answer questions as well. But you can always come to us. Never hesitate. I will answer your email very quickly if you email me. Some of you already know that. So I think that brings us to a video. Now, Dr. Melissa Shiflett, who teaches all of our juniors mathematics, could not be here today because she was hooded and received her doctorate at Virginia Tech today, right? So we are very proud of her. We all are students as well as teachers, and that's something that we value here at the Governor's School. And she completed her dissertation. Actually, her data was very interesting. I got to help her with her statistics, and it was studying the effect of collaboration on gifted students, if you can imagine. I'll tell you more when you're here in person. But in any case, she recorded a video for you to tell you about how we work with you to ensure you're in the right math course with us. And so I want to share my screen, and I'm going to go to our YouTube channel. I'm going to share sound, optimize for video clip. Let's see if I can do this properly. And our YouTube channel is CVGS Director. That sounds, when I say it out loud, it sounds a little bit like All About Me, but I just felt like it wasn't taken, and I felt like it would be good. Can you see Dr. Shiflett right now? Great. I'm going to put this on full screen, and just a thumbs up if you can hear it.
Hello, my name is Melissa Shiflett, and I have the privilege of teaching all of the junior level math courses. I apologize that I can't be in person tonight, but I did want to relay some important information to you. So not only am I in charge of teaching all of our juniors mathematics, but I also get to create the student schedules. So in this presentation, I'm going to be going over our ALEKS program and the math course placement. In an effort to help place our rising juniors in appropriate math courses, we use a placement program called ALEKS. This program has 2 very important parts. First, each student will have an hour and a half to take a 30-question placement assessment. Based on the score of this assessment, students will be recommended for either Math Analysis or Calculus 1. The second phase of this program involves a learning path that will help prepare students for entry into the recommended course. Through a series of lessons and short assessments, students will progress through lessons focused on topics that challenge them on the placement assessment. The second phase is meant to help fill in the students' gaps of knowledge so that they will start the recommended course with the appropriate knowledge and skills to be highly successful. The ALEKS placement assessment should be completed prior to the first day of new student orientation. Students should set aside a 1.5-hour block to complete this assessment by Wednesday, June 1st. Students should not attempt to prepare or study for this test, as it is meant to determine the knowledge and skills that they already have. Also, students should not use any outside material, including a graphing calculator or Desmos. A calculator is provided through the assessment for specific problems. Due to the design of the software and how the course recommendations are made, using outside resources during the assessment could result in a student being placed in the wrong course. We want your junior year at CVGS to provide you with the appropriate level of challenge so that you learn a lot and also enjoy the experience. Please put your trust in our placement methods, as we have been ensuring that students end up in the right course for them for a long time. I would like to briefly talk about the 2 junior level courses, both of which provide credit for our students for college, and who these courses are designed for. For our new students who have just taken a geometry, algebra 2, or possibly a trigonometry course, after taking the placement assessment, you will automatically place into our math analysis course. You will then have an ALEKS learning path to work through during the summer so that you can fill in any learning gaps you have and be well prepared as you start CVGS in August. These topics will not only prepare you for your math course, but also for your physics course. If you are a student who has just taken a math analysis or pre-calculus course, you have 2 options depending on the results of the ALEKS placement assessment. One option, our math analysis course, is actually the more common and recommended path. About half of our incoming students in the past who have taken a math analysis or pre-calculus course opt to take our math analysis course in order to create a solid foundation of the mathematical skills needed for a successful journey through calculus. Our math analysis course goes much further into concepts and skills than typical courses, and it challenges all of the students to better grasp those mathematical skills, especially trigonometric, exponential, and logarithmic function. The second option for those students is to enroll in our calculus course, which does require a sufficient ALEKS placement score. Students who do not earn the required score to enroll in calculus will be enrolled in our math analysis course, regardless of their prior math courses. If a student in that situation desires to take calculus, we will provide one more opportunity to take the placement test prior to the start of the school year. Satisfactory progress through the learning path will be necessary and required before the student will be eligible to retake the placement assessment. In order to access the ALEKS program, we will provide you with a username and password. This information, along with a detailed description of the program and what I just went over, will be sent to you in the next week. If you have any questions about ALEKS or about which math course you should take next year, please reach out to me using the email address you see on the screen. I am happy to help in any way. I look forward to seeing you all in a few weeks as you begin a really exciting journey at CVGS. Thanks, and you guys have a great night.
So there you go. So what did she say? Dr. Shiflett, that our math analysis is not like any of the courses that are offered in any of our base schools. We know this because we've taught those courses in the base schools prior to coming to Gov School, and we check with our students every year. So the reason why we take time to talk about this and we purchase licenses for all our students for ALEKS is because we've had students who felt that taking our dually enrolled math analysis course, pre-calculus, those are the same thing, after they had a course with the same name was being retained, was not moving forward, was in some way a bad thing to do. That is not the case. That is not the case. I recommend the math analysis course because it has calculus at the end of it. It is aligned with our physics course in the junior year, and it will give you the strong foundation you need to build calculus on it. And if you do really well, and many students do, in the senior year, you can take Calculus 1 and Calculus 2 in 1 year. Where AP Calculus in the typical high schools is offered 5 days a week for a year, we will cover that same content 3 days a week in a semester in the senior year, and you'll be ready to do that because you've been with us. Now, there are some students who take the ALEX assessment in the first time and they've really got solid content knowledge and they've developed these skills and they're ready. And that's fabulous, right? And they can take the Calculus 1 course in the junior year. We will do the entire year for Calculus 1 and we'll do it 4 days a week rather than 3, because we've been doing this a long time and we found that transition is really helpful. The junior year is a busy time. So just to reiterate that we'll provide you with a laptop, we'll provide you with access to ALEX, and we have a goal for you to do this. Now, I want to be clear about what we'd like, and then I'll be clear about what we'll do if that can't happen. So we'd like you to, when we send you the login information, it is student specific, for you to work on ALEX before you come to new student orientation. But we won't have given you a laptop by then, right? And that's not fair. Some people do not have access to computers at their home. They can't get to the library to do this. It takes an hour. It might be awkward. We get that. So if you're not able to do the ALEX assessment prior to coming to new student orientation on June 6th, you can stay with us after orientation ends at noon, and you can take it while you're here with us. You'll have your own CVGS laptop at that point. Okay, so we're the kind of program that we're going to think about those things. We're going to have one path that you can do if everything works out well, and another path that you can do if there are challenges. So that's the ALEX software. The students tell us, our students evaluate everything we do. We really trust our students. They are the people we work for, right? And you, students, you are excellent consumers of educational product. What I mean to say by that is this: you know which teachers are working hard, you know which ones might be having a little bit more of a difficult time, you know when things are going well for you. And so we ask you to evaluate everything we do for you, and then we change our program based on that. And our current students will tell you that. And so they've told us in the past, ALEX was super helpful, especially during the pandemic, especially during the time where educational experiences varied greatly across the 11 high schools we serve. Our 2 junior math courses are dually enrolled. You will get college credit for them, and it will be through the Central Virginia Community College. And so you need to be a student there. And so if you've taken a dual enrollment course or even a summer program with them, you already are. You're already in their system. If you haven't, you need to apply at CVCC. And you can go online and you can take care of that way. And then when you get your student ID, you need to write that down, screenshot it, whatever, so that you'll have it for us. Yes, I'm sorry, Mrs. McMillan.
Sorry. Those of you that have filled out your registration forms already, you may have seen that we asked for that information. If you didn't have it at the time when you completed your forms, that's okay. If you could contact CVCC and find out what your ID number is, and then email it to me, and I will put it into your form for you.
That's excellent customer service, Mrs. McMillan. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we're going to take care of stuff like that. If you have a question, please, I hope you're getting that we're not excessively formal, right? You can contact us. We're going to help you. Don't be hesitant at all to do that. Our schedule, you'll see this in the handbook. Everything we're talking about is in the handbook, but our schedule is different. We teach 4 periods a day. Students only come for 3 of them. Some of you will be first session students. Some of you will be second session students. So first period, not all the students will be here. Not all the students have class starting at 7:30. Specifically, students from Brookville, students from Heritage, students from William Campbell, students from Appomattox, you're all second session, which means your first class doesn't start till 8:25. And we do that in order to balance our schedule, because again, we only have 7 teachers, counting myself, and I only teach 2 periods a day most days. So I wanted to make you aware of that now, and we'll talk more about that at new student orientation. We'll make sure that you're in the right place at the right time. Virtual Virginia, we get questions about Virtual Virginia. We cannot schedule you for Virtual Virginia because we are a regional program and we are not a comprehensive high school. If you want to take a Virtual Virginia class, super. And I can tell you what the students have told me about every class they offer. They've taken everything from economics and personal finance. That is the #1 most commonly taken course, through Mandarin Chinese, right? So I can tell you what students have told me in the past. I am happy to be your site mentor. And what that means is you go to your guidance counselor, you go to your guidance department and say, I want to take a virtual Virginia course. Would you make Dr. Smith my mentor? And I'll just work on it while I'm at Gov School. What you'll find is our environment is different than a typical base school, and students want to be here because I'm going to treat you like a college student. So you'll work on virtual Virginia whenever you want to, and you'll not work on it when you don't want to. And I will proctor your tests. That's really what I'll do, right? And so it produces more flexibility in your schedule. You won't have a 50-minute period where you have to report to a place and stay there for 50 minutes. That's not how it works here. Parents, I'm a very straightforward person, right? Your students probably don't need that. They can make better use of their time. But virtual Virginia, that's how it works. If you ask me to mentor you in a course, I'm going to say yes. I've had as many as 40 students at a time because it's not a lot of work for me because I don't do much, right? You just have me listed, and when you need a test to be proctored, I'll give you the codes. I'll type them in for you. I'll do whatever it is your particular instructor wants, and then you'll take them while you're here with us. We are at the Q&A time, I think. Mrs. McMillan, have I forgotten anything before question and answer time? No, I think, look, 7:36, we're doing great. So what are the questions that you have right now about really anything? Nora's like, nah, I'm good.
Will we know what score we get when we take the test for the ALEX thing, and what's like getting into calculus score?
That is an excellent question. Thank you so much for that. That's the kind of question that other people are thinking as well, but a little hesitant to ask. You will receive your score in the program, I believe. I don't know, and I'm a very candid person. If I don't know, I'm not going to make it up. I don't know what the cut score is, right? I don't know how much you need to know in the areas to predict success, but Dr. Shiflett does, because she's collected data on it for some time. In addition, when you come to new student orientation, you are going to get to talk to seniors who took math analysis after having had a course that had the same title, but be clear, was not the same course, and students who went on to calculus, right? So we're going to give you information that way as well. You'll get to talk to seniors who were in your shoes. So how do we set up our CVCC account? Mrs. McMillan?
If you go to the website for the Central Virginia Community College, there are buttons that you can click that says enroll today or apply today, and you click that button and it will take you through the application process, and it's super easy.
Yeah.
That's
and if you were to have any trouble with it, what would you do? Send us an email, call us, ask a friend. Phone a friend was a thing on a show. It doesn't matter. Okay. Other questions? Will parents get a chance to tour? I sure hope so. I sure hope so. Let me be more clear. I think we are at a place where having more people here is going to be fine. So our goal is to have a back to school night in the fall, where all the parents of our new Griffins will come in. The tour won't take very long, so what we'll do is we'll have you stop in each classroom and you'll get to hear from one of our instructors. And so you'll hear a little bit about each class that your student is taking, and that typically goes really well. So I'll be excited to get that back on track. How will we know our grades? Is it the same system as the base schools use? Great question. The answer to that question is we are on a 10-point scale. We grade differently in the sense that we don't average 2 9-week periods for a semester grade. We report your grade as you go along. Our students will all know their grades. We have a system called Rediker, which has an online student portal. We share it with the students and not with the parents. Why is that? Well, we're helping our students become independent, and we're helping our parents realize their students can be independent, right? So my kids are grown now, but I remember that transition to college. So we're helping both of you with that. Okay, so because when they go to college, you won't get grade reports either. But that doesn't mean that it's not appropriate to say, Wesley, can you open up the website and show me your grades? And Wesley says, yes, I suppose. You can definitely do that. So that's going to be how we'll share grades. We do have that kind of desire to build what we call academic maturity for the students. So so you'll know, parents, you'll have confidence when they go off to college, they're going to be just fine. If I can't attend orientation and get my device, when can I get it? I'm going to arrange a time when you can drive by and pick it up and you could take a tour. Wouldn't that be lovely? Look, we could take care of both things at once. Yeah, so we know that some folks won't be able to come to new student orientation. We'll get the device as soon as we can, the laptop. There's also a drawing tablet and some other cool stuff that the kids will pick up. And I will contact each of you once we get the list of folks that aren't going to be at new student orientation. If I can't take my picture during the first student orientation, when can I take it? You will take it on August 8th. You will take it on the first day that we see you, or we'll arrange something over the summer. I like Dr. Shiflett to take the photos because she's really good at setting the white balance so that they all look really nice. Other questions? No? We're in pretty good shape. I'm trying to think, I think we've covered most of the commonly asked questions. Key messages. One, the handbook has a lot of good information in it. 2, we want to see you on the 6th, 7th, and 8th if we can. 3, we're going to communicate with you based on the phone numbers and email addresses we have. Now, you all are here. You're not the ones I'm concerned about. Right? It's the ones who aren't here tonight, and we're going to figure out who they are and find out what happened. Some people, as I said, are very busy, but maybe there was a communication breakdown. So please email if you want us to change any of that contact information. That's how we're going to send information to you about the ALEX program, about new student orientation and that kind of thing. Mrs. McMillan?
We will also give every student a Gmail account, and that will be our primary communication device with our students, especially over the summer. You need to make sure that you're checking that email frequently so that you can see any communication from us.
That's a very good point. And yes, students would come to all 3 days and in August. So we have, what are we doing for 3 days? You're going to take 12 hours of my summer? Like, I barely know you. I don't know. That seems a lot. And we just finished regular school. Well, part of it's just going to be fun getting to know you stuff, right? Trying to create bonds so that our pioneers know our cavaliers, know our lancers, right? And I could go on, right? So, and you're all Griffins, right? So we're gonna do some of that. We're also gonna talk about research, so you can think a little bit about research over the summer. We're gonna make sure that you understand how to get yourself ready for math using the ALEX learning path. Students have really appreciated that because, again, you're coming from 11 different high schools, and so everybody has had a different experience. So that's great. Yeah, so all 3 days, 8 to noon, and then again in August, we'll see you right before we bring the seniors back. Other questions? I hope you're excited. It's going to be fun. I know it's scary. I mean, I get that, right? But it's good to do scary things sometimes. Safe, scary. This is a safe, scary thing, right? Parents, I want to deliver good messages here. But yeah, lean into your discomfort a little bit. You're going to meet some awesome friends, you know? Thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it. We're so excited to have you to become part of our learning community. You're going to have a good time. We're going to challenge you and we're going to support you, and it's going to be great. If you have a question after this meeting, you're perfectly fine. Just email it or call us during school time, and we'll be glad to take your call. If there are no other questions, I'm going to wrap up at 7:45. That's actually exactly when I predicted we would be done. All right. Thank you all so much for coming. Have a great evening.